Hey guys, Captain PLT, how you doing? Hope you're having a good morning. It's 10 o'clock. This is where we engage, but we did engage a little earlier. We'll just show you what we did. We're watching the QQQ, and the reason why we're doing that is because it had this big sell-off here around 9:38. We tested the shadow. You guys know how I feel about the shadow, anybody that listens into the audio. But this is our first live broadcast. We're testing the software. But this right here, this Harami right here told us this guy is still in charge. And also, just so you know, the S&P has been acting as support for everything the last few days. It's been like a rock. It was up yesterday while the news were getting hit. I also want to mention that Apple, a lot of people questioned me on that the negative news that came out. And I had suggested, you could check my videos 3 or 4 days ago. I said it's not a short, it's a buy at the end of the day. Because when companies raise prices, I have a lot of experience with this, especially with semiconductor chips, especially with Intel in the 80s. And Intel would come up with 3, 4, 5, 6 times maybe in 1 year, or within a year and a half of raising prices when there was a glut back then for PCs. And the initial announcement of the news was always taken as negative. But after that, the stock made new highs. Well, had a tremendous rally. So I was saying that on the day of the news. I mean, this stock's already up $30. Trading at the low was 274. So you bought it halfway at 280. It's already up $23. It's still going. It may test the high, Apple. Of all companies right now to be testing highs and stuff like Apple, they're behind on AI and, they're behind on everything. Yeah, Apple. And you never want to short the stock in this time of year. It's a phenomenon. I know it came in, but you're looking for the buy in Apple. Yeah, if you short it up here, it broke. Yeah, this guy definitely told you to short it. Right here, right? Mr. Shadow. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. But this news was told you that it bottomed. Just a note on that on Apple. Getting back to QQQ and SPY. The Qs are going to not be as reliable today as the SPY will be. There's certain factors. You got Meta correcting its 60-point gain from yesterday. You got Tesla starting to back off, heading towards 400. You also have SanDisk continuing its major sell-off, although Micron is kind of settling that out. Was down around 50, $60 earlier. It's only down 26 now, SanDisk. They're starting to stabilize. Again, this 750, 751 area on the SPY. This could break out. That's these highs here at 755. The RSP, which is the more equal weight S&P, just to give you a quick glance here, this thing's been making new highs the past couple of days. Yeah. 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 These are new highs. That's those all-time highs. These are all-time highs. Sorry, I'm fumbling here on the relative equal weight S&P. But usually the S&P is not too far behind it. Maybe a little slower. And here you can see, I'll show you a 5-minute. Just steadily, yeah. And these are all numbers that we had, the 747 area, now heading towards the highs. Resistance, resistance, resistance. There's nothing really saying to short it. Look at it, just still going. See him? Now look at this, broke, test, break, test, break. So the QQQs are going to be a little wishy-washy. Once they stabilize Meta, Tesla, and SanDisk, I think this 735 area can be retested on the QQQ. And we'll show you. Put up a 30-minute so you can see it. See them? They're not going to leave that open. That's where it's going. To that 735 level, they're going to close that window. Now, if things go inverse, You know, there's this guy down here, 706, 706, 711. But based on what's going on, the time of year, it's the beginning of July, it's 4th of July. It's very rare that they're going to hit them, hard. I think they're going to close this window, and maybe later on in the day, could be next week. I don't know. But there's your channel on the QQ. So the upper limit right now is about 730, 731. It gets through there. They're gonna try to close this window, 735.68. The other day, that 736 area, 37. Nice little call there also. Does that fill the original window, Sam? Fill this original window here. Filled it. I made a higher low. Right? So I think it's going to be wobbly. The trend is up. They did the liquidity sweep here at this bottom, 722-ish. Right here, 722. Go. Drop and pop. Instead of pop and drop, now it's drop and pop. That's so you see the trend, right? See the arrows? See the trend. So we'll see what they're going to do. Keep your eye on Meta, Tesla, and SanDisk. That'll be key. Otherwise, they'll seem to appear to not to hold the rallies and come in. And then keep your eye on the S&Ps. It's still doing what it's supposed to be doing. Let's go sideways. Come here. Maybe test the VWAP. The 30-minute on it, so you can see it. The channel. Just a steady flow. The channel on so you could see it. Somebody say, I just see it in my head and assume that you could see the same thing. Okay, sub channel. So, and that's the equal weight. Here is your regular SPY. Look at that move. It moves. Right? No, this can come back all the way in. I mean, it's overextended. Right? It's at the top of the channel. Right? Where it broke down from the other day. Right? There's your resistance line. Right? It's not exact, so when I do for myself, sometimes in my head, I just do this, around a resistance line. Makes sense, So let's see. Do they want to come into this area? And this is really a hard day to be short because there's no liquidity, Everybody's going to make this a 4-day weekend, so be careful. Be careful. Size down. This is not a day to have big positions, The only big position you have if you set this up down here. It was the time to take positions. We were talking about this low. See the shadows? See him. Yeah, it's not exact. Like you could say, oh, it broke, it's going to go lower. Yeah. But now look where you are. Right? So, especially when you see this guy show up. No. No. You draw a line here, and that's if you're going to play fill the gap. But when they break him, then you can play fill the gap. Until then, follow the direction. Follow the direction. You're up. So just keep that in mind. You want to take a look at SanDisk? You guys playing that? I'm sure anybody that's a volatility junkie, I would definitely be there if I was on the desk. Now I just create the radar for you guys. You guys could have somebody watching your back. This is what SanDisk looks like. See the setup? You know, what time is that? Pre-opening, right? 8:35. Put in. Yeah, you could size up on that kind of a setup. Right? Here's your support. Here's your box. You already there? Yeah, he's already there. See him? Let me highlight it. Let me highlight so you can see it. I'll put it in yellow so you guys can see it. See him? Here's your support. Safety valve. Right there. You want to draw a channel. Your channel. There's the break. You're stopping right where it broke. See him? That's why that line's there. I just see them in my head. And no, I don't see dead people. But there's your channel. That's what I'd be playing up right now. You know? Get to 75% right there. That's your probability. You train it down. Right now you gotta wait for him. 1976 area. You know? Once that stabilizes, you know, they can you'll get some follow through on the QQQ, otherwise it's not. It's not. If SanDisk maintains down, they're gonna hit Micron. Light has been showing signs of failing for a week or two now. But Meta's not stabilizing, and neither is Tesla. UVXY, the VIX is just awful. But August is the time that this thing comes alive on UVXY. You got to be careful in August. But this is what we're looking at. Put that back to a 1 minute. See it? Did you top from earlier? You see how they're buying every dip? Buying every dip. See them? 21 day, 50 day. Buy the dip. Buy the dip. Right from the opening. Right from the opening. Yeah, we'll take a look at it. Right? Yeah, those of you who play the 5 minute bar, that would be a top right there, right? That'd be a pivot. It's 748. Broke above, came in, sort of tested it, broke above. So this is your buy area here, 748-ish. You could have said that was the setup. That's the 15-minute ORB. You could have said that was the setup. But you know where your stops are, right here, right? Put it on here, 748.89. Your stop is 749.23 in reverse, right? That's a lot of things. Guys who want to play the short side, they fail to do that. You know, they're just looking for the next short. No, that's set to buy. Right? So if you along the, say, the 749 put, if you're doing it with puts, right? You'll put the 749, whatever, 750, right? As soon as it breaks here, you're on the 751s. Right? 750, 751s. Or even the 749. It broke at 749. You're still long. Right? It's $1. You know, when you wait for your buyer here, where did it stop? 749.70, 750, 749, 750. Huh? Get rid of the circle here. So like I said, the Qs are just going to flop around. Let's put this back to 1 minute. The Qs are just going to flop around. They'll just drift. They're just in a drift. Because SanDisk is actually getting worse. It's down 77. Meta is worse. It's down 23. And you got Tesla worse, down 15. There's no reason to stay along the Qs. You know, intraday. As soon as it broke here, you know, you're on the 730s. Yeah. And let's take a look at the 730s. I'm using Mondays, less volatility in the next day. 457, $6. Good him. Yeah. And you play the VWAP game. Play the VWAP game. Goes through, there's your stop. Right? 568. Take the money. But you got to be you got to be careful here because again, do they want this to be down? And the answer is no. So here's 1, 2 area, 3 area of sells. And some guys that held out, sometimes it'll test the high, go to $9. But so far, I've been doing this for a while, and it's the guys who take their profits and save a little for the end for the kicker. Those are the guys that always make money. And I wasn't always like this. I was the guy with I didn't sell anything. I would buy more. And that is a way to make a lot of money. You will. But you also blow up. Not blow up where you blow the account. You take big losses. I've never done that. I've never had big losses. I've always made money, but I took positions that made guys a lot nervous, especially upper management. They were very nervous with me. Because they didn't know how to do that. And there's always a golden rule, when you outshine the master, there's a target on your back. But I always made money for the firm. Always. And listen, I've had my blow-ups. But in the end, up 90%, a hell of a lot more than what I lost. And you learn, you're not always going to win. The question how you get back up. Listen to my podcast, The Journey of the Righteous Man. It's not about rising. It's about when you fall, how to get up and who's helping you. There's only one guy that can help you. Look up. All right, we looked at that. Okay. All right, this is OnePingOnlyRadar. This is your host, Captain PLT. We'll be back in a little bit with another live stream. So just keep your powder dry. They usually don't hit them on the market, the market today, especially the day before 4th of July. And this is an odd one. It's 2 days before. So, keep your powder dry and wait for